Snig Dog, how are you today?
Pretty good.
Did you know that 90% of bald men still own a comb?
I did not.
Yeah, they just can't part with it.
Hey-oh, dad jokes.
Do you believe in karma? Log on to KSLSports.com to help raise money for a great cause and create some good vibrations for the Utah Jazz and the NBA Draft Lottery. 6 days away. It's the KSL Sports Zone's 2-for-1. Donate at least $2 to Intermountain Primary Children's Hospital in hopes of the Jazz, get this, recouping winning basketball here in Utah. Go to KSLSports.com and donate your $2 today.
Utah Hockey Club crushing it last night, moving up from 14-4. Next Monday, we'll find out what the Jazz are doing. They don't need to move anywhere. They got the worst record. They just need to stay at number one.
But they're moving up the standings because they're going to get Cooper flag.
Now you're talking. Off-season developments over in the Big 12 world. We've got reports this morning that the Big 12 is going to tack 3 years on to Brett Yormark's term. He's got 2 years left on his original 5-year contract. It's supposed to be up at the end of 2027. But reports this morning that it will be extended to 2030, which will see them through the next round of TV negotiations. Pete Thamel was the one tweeting that out originally that I saw, but many people have put something out there now. So that means he'll lead them through the next round of realignment, which I have to say they are in. The Big 12's in a position of weakness. If the Big 10 or SEC sends an invite, then I would think anybody in the Big 12 would go running. But how do you put the league back together? How do you get the best TV deal? How do you keep the league as relevant as possible? You know, this conference and this commissioner don't hold all the cards, but play the cards you have as well as you can.
Well, I don't know that I would say a position of weakness because, as I was saying earlier, let's go ahead and make this a real league. When I say this, I'm talking about college football. And so you get somebody like Yormark, if he's forward-thinking and the forward-thinking is the right thing, I mean, you can come up with a bunch of concoctions, but if it's that none of them are right or very few of them are right, it doesn't matter. It's not about coming up with concoctions. It's about coming up with forward-thinking. I told you the Black Desert people have a plan, and it is being submitted today. And we'll see what happens. And it's something that, and they shared it with me, that is, I think it's an awesome idea. And I shared it with you, and I trust you to keep it quiet. And that's a forward-thinking, great idea for the sport, right? Mm-hmm. So Yormark has come up with some stuff that so far the expansion and the most high-profile things have worked. And to give the league attention. And then there's some minor things that help. For instance, instead of having individual pro days, have everybody go down to Dallas, and then you can get more media attention that way, right? That works, right? Because there's a slice of the pie, and you're trying to grab as much of it as you can. So stuff like that. And we'll see about playing in other places. Like, for instance, the first week, or August 23rd, so I guess they call it week 0, is Iowa State and Kansas State. Mm-hmm. You know where they're playing?
Ireland.
Yeah. Okay.
And they need more. They need more of that.
You're grabbing a piece of the pie.
Yes.
I have Irish background. My father and grandfather, right? Mm-hmm. So, and my daughter, which kind of bugs me, that she went over there and my niece.
She got there before you.
Yeah. And, and just to watch, I watched that last year. Who was it? Florida State and
they always have different people over. They've had Notre Dame and Navy over.
Was it Georgia Tech or somebody?
Yeah, I think it was.
I watched it. Not that I care about either of those teams. I'll care about this one because it's the Big 12. But I watched it because they show scenes of the city and stuff that I'm going to see one day. I think. Knock on wood. But I want a flavor of the communities. I mean, that's my heritage, right? So that stuff is going to draw people in. And I think that with Yormark now, if he's that forward thinking, his leadership is needed more than ever because we've seen the most drastic example of bad leadership. My conference is dissolved. Why? If you had to sum it up in 2 words, bad leadership.
Yep.
You got anything else for me?
Nope.
Yeah. And so
lack of vision, lack of awareness, all filed underneath bad leadership.
Right, exactly.
Yormark had the good sense to take the TV deal that the Pac-12 wouldn't.
Yeah, and he pushed it.
That's the bottom line.
And I thought last year was a great year for the conference in football. Basketball, they're already pretty good. But in football, I thought it was a pretty good year. Mm-hmm. And then to have their winner take Texas right down to the end, it obviously could have gone either way. Now he has to figure out a way to get more than just one bid. They got to have two, if not three. They got to find a way, and maybe we can come up with some type of.
He'll get guaranteed two if he lets the SEC and the Big Ten have four.
Well,
there's a whole thing out there about a 4-4-2, two for the ACC.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
one and one
resist.
For the Group of Five.
Resist.
And then one at large.
Resist is a popular word these days.
I've heard that.
Yeah,
that's for a 14-team playoff.
Right, but I want more. No, I want three. You get three.
Well, and there is talk that they'd use that and go to 16 teams and have two wild cards out there.
Right, and add the wild cards, and then if the Big 12, Big 10, and SEC get the wild cards, so be it. But I don't like the entitlement, and maybe we can come up with a system where we have these power leagues are all under the same umbrella, and each of these leagues have commissioners, and so the people who end up deciding it are the four commissioners. And he has to find a way to bridge the financial gap.
Well, one thing he has to do is more what you're talking about with week 0. They have to figure out where can the Big 12 play, because I think the Big 12 is playing good football. They've clearly got NFL players and future stars. They got a personality in Dion.
Stories to tell.
There's stories to tell. But when you play head-to-head with the SEC and Big 10, SEC and Big 10 people are going to watch their leagues. Now, the people who are way into football will watch the Big 12 if it's the only thing on. And right now, I think playing across week 0, I think go to ESPN and say, let's give you a Monday night game a week earlier. Why not start Monday Night Football 1 week earlier? You already put a college game on Labor Day in advance of all the NFL Monday night games.
Have that?
So have one on week 0. They don't have one on week 0.
Oh, week 0.
So play a Monday night game there. And if you have to go to Mexico or Canada or Hawaii, then go. You know, there's a rule you can play on week 0 if you play outside the continental U.S., so that's why they go to Ireland. So go to Germany or England, go to Vancouver. I don't care.
These rules.
I don't care. Nobody, just play wherever. Yeah. There's that too. But I mean, go play in Vancouver or Toronto. I don't care. Put the thing on TV. You need more TV dollars. Put football in windows where ESPN and Fox don't have it, and they will pay you for it.
And then
a game of the week on Friday night. And then the Big Ten season at ground. The Pac-12 should have done it. The Big 12 should have done it. And the Big 10's beating them to it.
Go up to Buffalo up there, build a landfill on the water, and play it in Canadian waters.
Nice. I see what you did there. That won't cost anything at all. Good idea, PK. The whole stadium gets swept over Niagara Falls in the middle of the game.
Yeah, and you got the falls in the background.
And everybody would watch that.
Yeah, you got to go outside the box.
Yep.
And I don't think that bridging the financial gap is as big a deal as we see, as it appears, because assistants are already getting paid 7 figures,
mm-hmm.
and for assistants, it's important. The money is obviously always important, but also is the place.
Yes.
And if you're and you want to be a head coach, most likely.
So getting a good place, getting a good program.
Yeah. So these guys, like for instance, the Devils, first time ever, they retained both coordinators, paying them 7 figures. Marcus Arroyo, who's been a head coach at UNLV,
mm-hmm.
He'll be a head coach again. Why? Because he's having big time success.
It's a mixed bag.
So you don't want to be jumping around just to get a few more dollars. They're going to pay enough.
It's a mixed bag around the league. Iowa State has some stability. I think Colorado's getting it, which does surprise me a little bit. But Arizona lost their coach to Washington. You know, if they come calling,
that's head coach,
right?
I'm talking about assistants.
Keep your coordinators in place.
Yeah. Pay them.
But you're going to need more money to pay athletes. I think everybody needs another $1 million. You know, which means he has to make $16 million so that every school gets $1 million.
Yeah, I think with this settlement, that's going to even it out, is what coaches and Provo are telling me. That'll be nothing is ever going to. There is no pure definition of fair.
Right.
You just
There
looking
will
for
always be a
more
gap
fair.
to close and to make it, quote unquote, more fair.
Yeah.
And that's the commissioner's job. And he's done a good job at it. And that's why he's getting this extension that everyone's reporting this morning.
Right.
It's like
They just sent out a press release, the conference.
Oh, so
did.
it's out now? Okay. So they know that by 2030, there'll be another round of realignment. And they don't hold all the cards, but how do they keep as strong a league together as possible? How do they rebuild it as smartly as possible for whoever they lose and whoever they need to replace?
But they can't be ignored.
No. And I think that goes back to his basketball strategy. I mean, this is mostly about football, but it is a little bit about basketball. And that's where I like that he, on the margins, wherever he could try to move the needle, he did. And they did resist the UConn thing didn't happen. For a while there, it seemed like it was gathering steam, and it might, and bring another power brand into the league. Now, they don't bring much in football, and ultimately it hasn't happened. But depending on what happens in the next round, they might be out looking for 2 or 4 more teams, and maybe they laid the groundwork there.
I think this show of stability is coming at a crucial time. It is necessary. And if they believe Yormark is the guy, and there's quotes, the chairperson of the Big 12 is the Baylor president, Linda Livingstone. Mm-hmm. And so they've got quotes from her and all that stuff. That this is an important decision that the league has to make at this time. Because it needs to show as much stability as possible. So it is included and continues to narrow the gap and continues to make inroads. And I think they are. Whether it end up being enough remains to be seen. And I agree with you. If somebody gets the golden ticket, they're probably out the door.
And I can't really blame them, whoever that is. Might be your Devils. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know that it's the right move competitively.
But it's the move everybody will make. I get your point. I mean, there have been teams that have been hurt. They have realigned, and it has hurt them. Miami was awesome in the Big East, and when they went to the ACC, it's never clicked for them. It's been 20 years of what?
Yeah, I just don't know that UC Los Angeles
right.
needs to be in the Big 12.
Did Arkansas gain anything by going to the SEC? They were on the cutting edge of move. They left the Southwest Conference.
But that wasn't that dramatic in terms of travel and all the other things. Now you're getting to the point of being outrageous to where their basketball coaches were all whining about it, and the very first season.
Yep.
I wonder, does SC? You got the money. Good, you got the money.
Yeah, I know.
But it's like,
and
if
SC,
you have the money but don't have your health, who cares how much money you have?
SC went to Maryland and lost, went to Minnesota and lost, went to, was it Michigan and lost? Or is it Michigan or Michigan State? Yeah, they took 3 road trips, and they got beat on all of them. Yeah. It was karma, and it was awesome.
And I believe in karma.
Thanks for blowing up the league, USC.
Right.
If you don't go, nobody goes. None of this ever happens.
Right.
It's on SC.
I believe in karma, and for the Big 12, AJ is the way.
Got a week to work on these.
He's the way. AJ Devonza. He's the way, the truth.
And the light.
And the light.
There it is. There it is.
Was that on air?
Yeah, it was.
Okay. I didn't know if I should go there, but since you did,
since Yock did, no one's going to complain about Yock, but you have a bad attitude.
Right, exactly. Right. I got real close to the line. Do I go over it? I hesitated, but Yock filled it in, and we're good.
It's awesome when I know people who get to know you, because I just had somebody else say, yeah, I saw him. He kind of had a grumpy mood about him. I thought, I don't know how this is going to go. And as soon as they handed him the microphone, it went great. And I'm like, that's PK in a nutshell. You nailed it. Well, I never know. I don't want to judge people too quickly. You got to get to know them. I said, no, I think you pretty much got him.
I've been wrongly judged my whole life. There's no point. And a lot of it's on me.
But they figured out. I mean, didn't that assessment of a situation sound like, well, that's pretty much you to a T. You're not even going to complain about that.
I'm not overly friendly. I think it stems from being shy.
Yeah.
but when the red light goes on or the producer says your mic's hot, it changes. I get it.
All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone.